Hello everyone, welcome to Alisha Larae Today. Welcome to another episode of the Alisha Larae Today Show. I'm your host, Alisha Larae. My special guest today is Lady Sharina Portia Butler.
I just did an interview with a lady on my show that I do on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
She been in drugs for 30 years in Liberty City. That's right in the city, in the heart of Miami.
Right.
And at the end of the interview, I say, "What has anybody introduced Christ to you?" She said, "No." So that means the church is sleeping. 30 years you on drugs. And the only reason why she got off the street because she saw so many murders. She saw a murder that day, and it scared her because the person who had murdered the person saw her. So that what ran her into, the recovery place. Other than that, she still would be strung out on drugs, prostituting.
Ain't that something?
And I'm the first person because I had the craziest dream after my haters kept hating on me. The church don't want to hear what I got to say. Well, guess what? I got a cell phone. Hi, this is Lady Butter, God's first lady. Put God in first, God first in your life. And that's how she ended up on the show.
Really? Ain't that something?
First time.
My sister's keeper.
Well, my sister's keeper place of refuge. That is a ministry and an assignment that God has put a mandate on my life to fulfill. It actually developed out of pain. That's why I stated that is pain transformed into purpose. And it was a time back on June 10, 2006. It was the worst day of my life. It was the worst day, but the first day of my life. And before I tell you a little bit about that, I've endured so much pain from childhood, from dealing with, the spirit of depression, the spirit of obesity.
I can't believe that.
Honey, I was 320 pounds.
Girl, you're beautiful. I can't tell.
Now, but there's
your
a story
heart
behind that.
Your heart is beautiful.
My heart was always there. I always had a heart. I always had a heart in the ministry to help people, to the point my parents would be upset because I'm the oldest of 10. I'm a pastor's daughter.
I saw that.
My father's a bishop, Bishop Glennie Forshee of Next Level of Praise and Worship Center in Miami Gardens. So therefore, the word has always been in me. But because I believe the call that God has on my life, Satan has always attacked me from birth, even from being a premature baby. I think I was 3 pounds 2 ounces. My mom had preeclampsia, so he tried to kill me from the beginning, to the point it led my father going into the bathroom that day because the doctors was like, it's either your wife or your child, which one to choose. So he chose to go pray instead of relying on man and, oh my God, I'm going to go ahead and keep my wife and kill the child. He made a prayer, and by the time he went to the delivery room, I was coming out. Amen. So that was the first miracle that God did in my life. After that, I guess I had the fat genes. I have some beautiful sisters. All of my sisters are beautiful. My mom has always been a wonderful mom. 7 girls, 3 boys, and she was a housewife. I saw my father really, really work, take care of us night and day. I saw him do ministry. I don't know what the churches are now, but back when I was growing up, we had some real troopers. I didn't know then how valuable it was. I thought it was torture. I guess that's why.
Going to church all the time?
Yes.
Were you in church all the time?
All the time. It was Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday, Friday. But we as children, especially pastor kids, the pressure to perform is so heavy. It's like you can't make a mistake. And the pressure was so heavy for me that it was, you got to stay a virgin. So my whole life, I was like, I got to stay a virgin. I can't mess up.
Was you just worried about that?
That's all. Because my father was very hard, and I get that because, we hold, mistakes in church to people like it's just attachments, it was like you can't make a mistake. You can't make a mistake because you're a Christian. I'm happy things have changed now in 2016, because we're human. God says we can make a mistake. That's why he throws them into the sea of forgiveness.
And Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So everyone have sinned. It's not like it's we can avoid it. We can avoid it.
The more temptation would come.
But he made a way of escape, and that's through Jesus.
Yes,
through
he
repentance.
did.
So we thank God for Jesus.
But during that time, they wasn't seeing that. They weren't even trying to hear that.
Right, that's true.
And
they weren't really.
They grew up in them holiness apostolic churches.
The churches
when you wear the doily on the head and we couldn't wear red. We couldn't wear red lipstick. You couldn't wear the skirt all the way Oh yes, it was to the point my father was the first one that actually stepped outside of the box during his era, because he was that pastor that was like, all this ain't necessary.
All those rules, because that was rules, and the rules were not in the Bible.
So he ended up getting kicked out the church. So I guess
really, that's what happened.
They was like, listen, you got to go do your own thing. We have our rules. This is how we're doing it.
So was it a Pentecostal church? Because they usually go by the rules.
It was a Pentecostal. It was a Pentecostal apostolic.
I understand.
When it comes to the word of God, very rooted. Yes. But there are just some traditional things that we hold on to that leads people to like, you know what, this not quite biblical.
This not biblical.
So
man-made rules.
Oh, it's a whole lot.
A whole lot. Yes.
A whole lot of them. But one thing that I will say, I respect them because they had the fear of God, and that's something that this generation does not have. They believed in praying, they believed in fasting, they believed in falling down on their faces and seeking God, and they believed in deliverance. One thing that I can say, a lot of them have gone on to be with the Lord. Yes. But if I called on a missionary tailor, if I called on my grandmother, which is Jamie Forshee, as well as Missionary Parish, when those three got together, they was known like the demon slayers of Miami-Dade County because they lived that lifestyle where they didn't just talk about it, they lived it.
They were about,
they were about their Father's business. Yes. If it took them coming out of church 3 o'clock in the morning, they did that. And as well as they took care of their families. So my sisters keep her back to that. It came out of, pain, growing up. All I heard my whole life is, you're fat. Oh, you're cute, but you're fat. Yeah. So not understanding, how warfare and the spirits work at a young age. I was just feeding off of it. So the enemy really, really fought me hard. Dealing with torment. To this day, there's certain things that I would deal with my parents don't even know. Because one thing about him, if he can keep you to keep your mouth closed, the spirit of torment is just here all day. I can't let nobody know about it. I can't let nobody know about it. I can't let nobody know about it. If you let somebody know about it, they're going to talk about you.
But now it's the set time to let the people know, because we're, delivered by the word testimony.
Well, that's why I started the movement. Say something, see something, say something, do something. Okay. Because a lot of us seeing something, we're saying something, but we're not doing nothing about it.
We talk about it, but we're not about.
Correct.
We're not about it.
I can go on and on about my history. I have a ton of things that I can say, but I had to own up and take responsibility to some of those things that went wrong in my life and some of those things that happened. I was very rebellious because I was so angry and bitter inside. I could never understand some things, and to actually go back down to everything, the root of it, I just really wanted love. I was searching for love, and for some reason, even though I had very good parents and they loved me, I don't know. It was just something in me because of all the talk.
Because of the name calling and everything? Yes. So a love of a man. We're talking
Not
about
really love of a man, just love in general. It was just a void within me that kept trying to reach out, that kept trying to search, because I was picked at so much, so I felt like I was in a box, and I felt like I had always been somewhere where I wanted to get out. Like, even in my earlier days as an adult, I wouldn't even take pictures.
Really? I couldn't even imagine.
Now I can't stop.
I was about to say that. If I go on your Facebook page, I see you in New York City. I see you here, there, on the road. Your videos I've been watching.
For years. I just realized after going.
So how did you get your confidence?
I got my confidence after being in an abusive marriage for 10 years. And the reason why I was in that marriage, because like I said, it was such a pressure on me my whole life of what people would think about me, what my family would think about me. I love my father, and I always wanted to make him proud. And I'm trying not to even cry as I talk about it, because it's just something about a child with the love for their parent. You always want to make them proud. So my life, I felt myself always trying to prove to make them proud, instead of really thinking about, am I really making God proud? So one day, in that abusive relationship, because I felt like, hey, I messed up. I had a baby daddy when I got to college, and then I messed up again and found the Mr. Wrong who came along, which ended up being my child's father. But I was pressured into marriage, not really. I knew that it wasn't right for me, but because I knew that I was saved, and the church was like, you can't be shacking up. You had a kid with this man, so I wanted
pressure. Yes, a lot of pressure.
Yes, and then at the time I was heavy. Most guys didn't talk to me. For some reason, they would always say you're so pretty, but then by that time I was fat. And being locked into a place where I had nobody, I didn't know where to go. Yes, I did have family, but one thing that I found, when you're going through some things in your life, you'll have family and you don't have family. And I would blame them because, like, don't you see me? Don't you see I need your help? Don't you see? Because they were like, well, you got a husband. Your husband need to take care of you. But at the same time, I've been working since the age of 14. And I'm like, I understand, you know, because having kids and having a lot of kids, it can be hard on parents. So me being the first, I guess I'm the guinea pig. So a lot of the responsibility as far as adulthood really fell on me and going along with life, you know. So it went from trying to live, having a baby, you know, trying to go to college, trying to work out the relationship between me and him.
You had a lot on your plate.
Searching after his love. And the whole time, you know, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know I was a domestic violence victim until just last week, because he would come home. When your gut feeling is telling you somebody is cheating, go with it. Because I would make all kind of excuses when God would show me different signs. I would go in his glove compartment and I would be like, well, why the car title says this name? Oh, talking about that's my auntie. But I'm like,
wait, is this the person you're married to?
Before we got married.
Oh, before you. Okay.
But remember, it was so much pressure from the church that now I'm like, okay, we've been together. I got a child with him because that was on my second child. So therefore, getting saved and living with a man, there is none. But you
already had the baby, so why did you feel like you had to get married?
Because I didn't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
I didn't have a home. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money.
Okay.
He was my source. So once he knew that all my resources he had, he felt like he can do whatever he want to do, especially knowing that my family felt that way about me. The worst thing is to tell everybody your deepest secrets, especially with a man. Sometimes that's not good for you because he helped those against me. Well, if you leave, well, you know what your daddy think about you. Well, if you leave, go ahead and go. Ain't no man gonna want you with 4 kids. No man gonna want you. And then at that time, I kept gaining weight because the only thing that I couldn't get a job because I didn't have daycare. But I could get food stamps. So I noticed every time you get a baby, that's another
more food stamps.
Exactly. So at the time, it was a survival thing for me, you know. And even now thinking about it, it kind of hurts because during those times, and I can feel women now. That's why I fight for them so hard, because when I was going through that process, to look back and look for some help from somebody, there is no help out there. To go to a DCF, and they're some of the nastiest people.
They are.
And it's I just need help. I just want to feed my kid. And as much as you know that you have a potential that's within you, so I would sit home. Even back then, I'm looking back at it, I would try to come up with little businesses, come up with do some little DVDs. But
you sound like me.
It has always been a drive within me, even at that state. But one day I got tired of being sick and tired, you know, and he would come home. There is a thing of being raped. Would come home, spread your legs open. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it because I know I had a feeling he was out with somebody. No, you're going to have sex with me. Next thing I know, I'm laying there in tears. I didn't know.
And that is rape.
That was rape. I didn't know that was domestic violence. I didn't know that if he got upset and didn't like something, he would twist my arm so hard to the point where, because he didn't want to say that I'm beating you, so he never punched me in my face. But he would use this maneuver, would twist my arm where I can't move. Like, you gonna do what I tell you you're gonna do. But because we as women, I'm strong, ain't nobody gonna hit on me. I didn't think anything was wrong with it, because he knew I didn't have nowhere to go anyway.
So all of that, everything you went through, that's how my sister's keeper came.
Oh, you haven't even heard the worst of it, honey.
Oh, it's more.
Oh, child.
It's more.
It is so much, but
you're not with this guy anymore.
Oh no.
No.
I end up getting my confidence by one day saying, you know what, I'm tired. I had gastric bypass surgery.
How long were you with him before you go into that? Before you decided to say it's over with the marriage? Okay.
10 years.
10 years.
I was dating him maybe 5. And then I was married for him the rest of the 5. Okay. But doing that, I had gastric bypass surgery. Got my confidence back. A lot of people was like, no, you'll die. I said, I'm either going to die in my house or take the risk of dying on the
chance.
Take the chance of dying on the surgery table.
That's right.
So I took that chance. I am a person, if I see something, all you can do is take the risk. If you don't, you'll be stuck in that state that you're at.
Right.
And right now, I've been taking a risk. Every time, one thing my father can say, he say one thing about Sharina, she wants something, she's going to go out there and make it happen.
That's right.
That's all I know. So I guess God designed me to be like that. But what really, my sister's keeper really came out of several amounts of pain until the point, the deepest pain that I could ever experience was once I did tell him I was going to leave him. And I'm not going to lie, I end up calling myself going out to see somebody else. You know, I never had sex, you know, while I was married to him. But because I was getting ready to leave, he was like, no, to the point where he wanted to stop me and was going to pull a gun out on me and the other young man who I was thinking about leaving him for. In that process, he moved me away to Port St. Lucie.
Who did that?
My ex-husband.
Okay.
He moved me away to Port St. Lucie, and we were looking for a home because everything here in Florida, you know, there's no homes down here. Rent is expensive. 3 months into moving up there, you know, I was talking to my next door neighbor, and I was like, I've grown up in church my whole life. I see people, you know, they have a testimony. I said, but I don't know what's my testimony, because I've seen people set free and delivered from drugs, prostitution, demons being cast out, but I don't know what's mine. Not knowing that my daughter would come to me in the kitchen, and she said, and she was 5 years old, I'll never forget that day, and she said, Mommy, I had a bad dream. And I was like, what dream was that? She said, I had a dream that we had a car accident, and Naya was in the car, which was my youngest daughter, and she said, but Naya died. I said, oh, I rebuke that dream in the name of Jesus. The devil is a liar. Not knowing that one Sunday morning, I would wake up refurbishing some furniture, because I love the fixing. I'm very creative. God has gifted me with so many different gifts that they just come, you know, effortlessly. And I was sitting there doing my furniture, like, okay, I got my boys' room, thinking everything was okay. Come to find out, you know, go take care of my little hubby. It was his birthday the night before. And my daughter wanted to come with me. She was like, Mama, can I go with you? I was like, not a problem. I told my oldest son that day, I say, you need to stay home, because when your sister wakes up, somebody needs to be there while your father's sleeping. So I'll crank up the car. My daughter, she opens up the back seat. And that week I had been telling her, you need to spend some time with your sister. You need to spend some time with your sister, because I don't know, you never know how long she'll be here. Not knowing that that day was the day that I would walk into my car seeing my daughter having a seizure, because one of my children asked for the keys to the car, and she followed behind thinking we were leaving and closed the door on her and didn't know. So my daughter was actually dying from the heat of the car. And so for me to crank my car up and turn around, now I'm seeing my baby, and I'm looking like, what? So that day is when my sister's keeper started, because that was the worst day of my life. She was my heart. She was going to be turning 2. She was actually my birthday gift. She was born August 2nd. I was born August 3rd. So my ex-husband's birthday was in June, like, I think June 8th, because she died June 9th, June 10th. So we went out and we celebrated the day before, and I never forget, I sat her on my bathroom counter. There was a double sink, and I was looking at her, and I was like, man, you're so pretty. She had some curly black jet hair, and she was just looking at me like, to go back at it now, like, she knew that was the last day that she was going to be there. Because I remember walking down that same I'm sorry.
It's okay, take it down.
I remember walking down the same hallway where she died. And that week she started screaming. She just started yelling, holding me tight. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, Naya? What's wrong? And I started looking, because I can honestly say it's like she saw something that I could not see in my eyes. And when I go back at it, I believe that she saw the spirit of death, like it was just waiting there. And so to recap everything that took place, and to know that you have to find your child, and then try to, you know, I walked into the shower to try to cool her down. And at that particular time, she turned purple. And I'm looking down at my baby like, I know logically from what they taught us in school, if she purple, she not breathing. So I'm trying to do CPR, and the more I'm trying to do CPR...
Was someone calling the ambulance at the time?
At that time, my ex-husband, I'm yelling, I'm like, you know, this is Naya. And he looking like, what's going on? Everything happened so fast. And so all I knew is it was hot. I see all this sweat. All she had was a pamper. I'm in the shower, cooling her down. I look down. I'm like, Jesus, I'm calling on Jesus. I'm calling on Jesus. And I go to do CPR. Nothing's going on. And I hear this noise like, and the smell coming out of her. And I'm like, okay, this is not working. I know I'm doing this right. So by that time, my next door neighbor runs in and he's like, hey, is everything okay? He was like, the ambulance is there. So I run out. And so the ambulance taking all their little sweet time. And I know in my head, my baby is not breathing. The longer she's not breathing and she's purple, she's going to be brain dead. So they open up, the ambulance, the doors. And so I'm like, here, this is my child. And so the man looking like, whoa, he thinking I'm handing him a doll baby. I'm like, no, this is my baby. So he like, oh. So all of a sudden they close the doors. And so therefore, they're now trying to bring her back.
They're trying to resuscitate her at that time? Okay.
So I'm sitting there and all I can do is call on Jesus at that point. So I'm like, Jesus, I know you can do this. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm crying out to him. I don't think I called on Jesus like that any day in my life. So then they open the door. They're like, okay, we got a pulse. Everything is okay. My heart was not relieved. The worst thing that I thought that I was walking into was going to a hospital. Probably she be in intensive care, but then she was going to recover. She's all right, because they were like, she's okay. The minute that I saw them start roping off with yellow tape around my car, my mind was like, no, that meant death. I was like, please don't tell me my child is dead. So they was like, no, this is a crime scene investigation. We have to do this way. But I'm like, okay, but I want to go be with my child. I want to go see about it. She by herself. Let me go run in the house, get her some clothes so I can be with my baby. They wouldn't let me leave. They was like, no, the car can't go anywhere. I was like, I don't have any family. I'm here. They were like, well, you better find somebody. So to be at a state in your life where you're searching for help and nobody's willing to help you. This is another time in my life I'm reaching out, crying out, and they're investigating. So now I'm scared because I'm like, I don't want to go to jail because I know people can go to jail for that stuff. And it was a simple day being a wife, being a mother, having a day to the point where now I find myself in a situation that's uncontrollable. And I'm like, oh, okay, God, now what do I do now? So all I hear the police can like, oh, get the mother here, get the mother here, So finally, one of the police officers, he was willing to drive me to the hospital. And in Port St. Lucie, everything was far. Nothing was really around at that time. And so I finally get there. And on the way there, I'm like, please, sir, please don't take me to this hospital. My child is dead. Please, sir. He's like, well, I can't make any promises. Just keep your composure. He was so cold. And I got my doll baby I bought for her from the store the night before. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to the hospital. But I'm like, sir, please, there's something wrong. Please don't take me because I don't have nobody. Get to the hospital. I sit down. I'm in a chair like this next to the stretcher. Next thing I know, they're like, I see them pumping her, and they're like, well,
did they let you go in the room? You were in the room.
Okay. I was in the room.
Okay.
And next to the bed, and I see my baby stretched out on the bed, and I'm like, they're like, ma'am, we tried for 30 minutes, but she's gone. And I'm looking like she's gone. And then I see my baby eyes, they folded back. That's when it's like that, it hit like boom. And I'm in the chair like, it's like my heart was snatched away from me at that very moment till I couldn't even breathe. And I'm like, no. Out of all my children, she was like the closest to me. Where I went, she wanted to go. So I had to get on the phone from that point, call my ex-husband. He's screaming over the phone. Now my kids who actually went to the car that day, I could understand their feeling because now they love their sister. Now, oh my God, we did something wrong. My sister's dead, because they trying to figure out which one of you guys closed the door on her. It was just a lot. I called my mom. My mom fainted over the phone. So now I'm going through shock. I'm having bowel movements where I couldn't even hold my bowel. I'm telling the nurse, I'm so sorry. I'm in the bathroom because it just all hit me. But at that time, I'm not going to lie, I loved God, but I hated him at that point because I said, I know you heard me when I was calling on you. I done seen you my whole life. I seen people be set free, delivered. I seen people come off of drugs. But at the time when I needed you the most, you wouldn't even come bring my daughter back.
Feeling, huh?
It was the worst feeling. So at that point, I think I was atheist. But I really was.
For how long?
For a good hour. Because I was on that ground. They had to really give me a shot because I was out of it. So I'm thinking, they was like, do you want to hold your baby? I was like, no, let me go get my husband. I'm going to come back. Just hold her. Let me go back home, bring my husband back, and then I can hold her. So not knowing that they was going to take her away immediately, and I guess, you know, do the autopsy and stuff, I never even really got a chance to even hold her or anything. So to endure all of that, it was very hard. And coming back on the road, I started having panic attacks and everything in the home. But on that road down, I saw a rainbow on this side of the highway and a rainbow on the other side. And it was as when I was coming back to Miami, like the hands of God began to hold my heart. That's the only thing that stopped me from hurting. And it was like somebody was just stabbing me in my heart with knives. And it was a process. It didn't go, the pain didn't go away overnight. But the pain went away with Jesus. I will say that. Once I came back, you know, my family support at that time, DCF, of course, monitored for a year. You know, but I found myself being in the church. They prayed with me. You know, I was crying all the time. But the more I started drawing myself to Jesus, the more he started healing me. The more I kept doing stuff. And I guess that's why I do so much now, because I could never stop. So my sister's keeper came out of her death. The more I kept going before God, the more I kept, you know, searching after him, the more I was like, I know that this is here, but God, you're comforting me. And from that point, that's where it kept my sister's keeper going.
So my sister keeper, is that just for parents who go through the death of their child? What are the different parts of it? I know that's not the only thing. It's
really a ministry for women to keep each other. And it came out of a ministry, a church that I was really attending, because ministry has always been in me as far as community. I'm a firm believer. If you're going to do something and you say something, then you need to do it. Don't just tell me scriptures. I've always been considered like a rebel. You can preach scriptures all day, in and out. I'm tired of hearing scriptures. And
put some action about
the world now, when I was out there hurting, when I was homeless 4 years ago. I didn't know in the church, to the point where you can give me a scripture, but when am I going to do it when I'm going through that process? Okay, if I done paid my tithes, done paid my 10%, and I'm seeing it pressed down, shake. You telling me press down, shake it together, run it over, shall men come and bring it into my bosom. But I look at my refrigerator and I still see it empty.
That's right.
What do I do at that point? Because I know I have the faith. I know I trust God, and I know you talking about you got to go through this process. It's not your season. But then when it's my season, when I keep going through all this brokenness. That's when God say people need some type of organization, because the pastors get tired of counseling. They don't got time for you. Because we have so many roots and so much going on. They so focused on our character, but you don't know why I'm the way that I am.
It's deeper than what they see.
Did anybody take out the time to really find out the road that has gotten me here? No, because they're so focused on the offering, and they're so focused on, me. The way that I learn, I'm a visual learner, so I may take a little bit longer to get what you're saying. A little 30-minute sermon not gonna do good for me. Even when I go home, because my mind is constantly racing on the things of the past, I can't even really get the word in like I really should. So, because they'll be like, "Oh, that's when you need to make your own study time with the Lord, honey."
Yeah.
So God dealt with me. People don't have enough time because people don't really care.
They don't.
They don't care.
It's just a ritual. Church, you go to church, you get out, that's it. You go to Bible study, you go back to church again on Sunday. They're not trying. They need to reach the basic needs of the people, because there's a lot of people that's coming into the churches that's hurting, that's broken, and it's not because they're not doing things because they want to do it. It's something that's rooted deep down,
and they need
from their childhood. A lot of them is from the childhood. We have a lot of people that's out there on drugs that are doing, all kind of things. But why? It's a reason. Women out there sleeping around. It's a reason. It's a reason. And we have to get to the core of the matter. But nobody want to take the time. They don't want to take the time. They won't take the time for
years. I was being tormented to the point where spirits would come in while I would be sleeping, and I would feel a heaviness come on me to the point where it's like it would shut your mouth, like you couldn't talk. And I'm like, the only thing that would allow it to let go was Jesus. And so I would go back to the pastors and be like, I keep experiencing this. What is it? They was like, oh, it must be rapid eye movement. You ate too much before you went to sleep.
They don't even know. A lot of pastors out there pastoring, and they're not even called. A lot of them, it's a business. And Thank you for joining us on the Alisha Larae Today Show. We'll see you next week, same place, same time. We did it.